welcome to the Odd Pod, the oddest little podcast on the internet. How the hell you doing? I am Stacy Kruger. You beautiful sons of guns. Who are you guys from the top down?
I think I'm casually challenged.
Rat Hazard, bang bang, quite a son of a gun.
I most definitely am Robbie.
I'm back and I'm undead.
And for once, Undead's on bottom, Robbie, so you're in the middle of the sandwich this time. How do you feel about this?
I don't know. I kind of like being on bottom.
I was about to say, you seem to enjoy it back there. Undead, dude, it's good to have you back. How have you been, man?
I've been all right.
How are you
missing the podcast?
I'd say, how are you enjoying not having a computer?
Oh, I hate it.
Do you want to fill everybody in what the hell's going on? Why you have been missing? Or?
All right. So basically, I moved just before. I think it was between the second and the third episode, and I'm actually living with family right now. And I had my computer set up in the corner of the room, and then my best friend needed a computer to finish out university, so I lent it to her. So I'm currently without a computer.
How dare you care more about her than us? I am personally offended. Jesus.
Good.
If she wasn't hot, I'd be pissed off right now. No, but seriously, it's really cool what you did, man. It really is. Not many people would give a flying fuck enough to help out their friends. That's cool of you, man. You know what
I mean, as I always say, friends over me any day.
Well, that's kind of the way I've lived my life for a long time, but for once I actually took my life in my own hands, which I think was important. You remember how I was sitting there talking about that band I joined where I was like super amped, like, oh, I joined a new band, blah, 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 right?
Stacy, your life's not big enough to need two hands.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Odd Pod. Here we go. Let's just get it going right now.
Add one to the counter.
Right? No, but I just I was joined this band. I was super excited for it. I'm pretty sure we talked about it on the last podcast. I was extremely excited. I couldn't wait to start playing shows. I couldn't wait to start, writing more music. And then things just went tits up real fast. Let me give a life lesson to everybody right now, okay? Say you're joining a band, say you're going to do a podcast, say you're going to do something that you really, really, really love, that you have so much passion in. Don't let it control your fucking life, and don't let somebody look at you and say, you're not allowed to do this because I don't like it. It's the worst thing on earth.
I was going to say, make sure you're doing it with the people you enjoy doing stuff with.
Exactly. That was where I fucked up because I was like, I want to get this band going. I want to get into a band. It's been years since I've been in a band. I'm going to play with somebody I used to play with in the past. That'll be a fantastic... And shut up, Robbie, because I know exactly what you're thinking right here. Like, oh, he played with them. But see, he's giggling. I knew it.
Stacy, what happens at band practice stays at band practice.
Exactly. No, but it's just, I was excited because I knew I played with these guys in the past. I knew what kind of personalities they were. I figured this would have been a fantastic idea. Well, I done fucked up. There was a
You
band.
done goofed?
I done goofed. I goofed, yo. I goofed. Yeah, I goofed, yeah. I'm just going to stop the bad accent. But I goofed. I unfortunately thought, hey, I played with these guys in the past. I know what kind of personalities there were. Those work out fantastic. Instead, no, it turned into, long story short, hey, I know you're really passionate about this certain thing you want to do. Guess what? You're not allowed to do it if you're in the band. Long story short. And that's right there where immediately, I don't care how passionate you are about the band you're in. You just have to walk away immediately. Absolutely have to walk away immediately. I remember kind of after I quit the band and stepped back, I looked back and went, what the hell happened? What? Yeah. I mean, okay. Is there anything you guys have ever done that you were so passionate about? You're like, I'm willing to deal with somebody to tell me what I'm allowed to do and not to do. Or to all of you guys to say, fuck that shit?
I pretty much say, fuck that.
Yeah, I'm right there.
Nobody tells me I can't do X or Y because I'm doing C or Q.
I agree with that. I don't care if this is a library.
I also have.
God damn it!
I also have an issue with authority. So
I was about to say, and casual saying this comes from a former military guy, so that says a lot. Am I right, casual? Because most of your brother and brother and sister. Is that even a word, sister? How about family? Most of your military family, as in the people you're in the military with, would kind of just bend over and take it at this point because that's what they're trained to do. Am I incorrect or not?
I think that's a misinterpretation of the modern military.
See, everything I've seen, especially with Hutch, who came from the military, and I've talked to him and his buddies. It always seems like they're like, okay, sure, I'll just do it because they've just been programmed to just do what they're told, and that's why, like, when I think of that, it's like that's the first thing I think of,
I guess I would say that certain things stick and certain things don't. And in that regard, I mean, I did what I was told when I was in, but I always questioned.
Smart man.
Also, I wasn't in the Marines, so
good point.
There's a different mentality, and I'm not. If anybody's in the Marines, I'm not saying that the Marines are, but I mean, there is a little bit of inter-branch rivalry as well.
Oh, of course.
So, of course, you bunch of dumb jarheads. But
I mean, I worked with the Marine. I couldn't tell you exactly how many times I heard him rag on Navy people going, what the hell was it? Something about the
bunch of squids.
Yeah, exactly. A bunch of squids, a bunch of crap. And then the Navy would look at the Marine and say, you wouldn't get anywhere without us, so you're a bunch of idiots. It was all types of crap.
It's friendly rivalry, though.
Exactly,
it's not like actual we hate you because we need everybody.
You guys can't forget about the chairman.
My point is that there is a different mentality in each branch, and the Air Force is kind of designed around, maybe a little bit more questioning than even the other branches, and the Marines, you don't question anything, and and I'm not saying that that's exactly how it is. It's just the the stereotypes.
Yeah, exactly.
Chair Force for the win.
Chair Force. Oh God, isn't that not the reserves? What were they? There's a Chair Force, but there's a specific branch of something that's nicknamed the Chair Force. What was it, Rad?
That's the Air Force.
Really? Well, up here there's another part that's called the Chair Force up here. That local people call it that because there's a Army, there's a Air Force base up here where I'm at, but it's a very specific branch of it.
All of our military listeners.
The hell with them! No, I'm joking. No, but what the
Chilitary?
God damn it! I can't remember, but local people make fun of them all the time. Anyway, moving on. But just all jokes aside, I guess the whole reason I brought this up was just don't let somebody control your life just because you love what you do. Just because you happen to love bands, don't let them tell you what you can and cannot do. I guess that's really my whole point of talking about this, I love bands. I love music. I love doing everything. But I refuse to ever let a band control my life again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But anyway, let's get into some nerd topics since this whole point of this podcast is nerdism. Nerdism? What? Nerdism. I like that.
Nerdum.
Or as casual, how did you put it? Meandering through nerdom, randomly stumbling along. I like that a lot.
Nerdgasmic.
Ooh. You're starting to get me a little hot bothered here.
Speaking of nerdgasmic, Stacy, you've brought this up a few times, but you asked the question, why do we need more Spider-Man?
Yes.
And I would like to comment on that because I think we do need more Spider-Man. He's one of my favorite characters, so I may be biased. But the reason we need another Spider-Man movie is because he's part of the MCU now, which is kind of a big deal because this does not happen in Hollywood, where two giant studios that both own properties shook hands and made a deal to share.
I can't remember the last time I've heard of any two companies sharing like that,
Who Framed Roger Rabbit is the only thing I can think of. They did it for that movie.
Oh, son of a bitch, you're right, huh?
Disney and Warner Brothers.
I didn't even think
Which I don't think will ever happen again now that Disney owns Marvel and Warner Brothers has owned DC forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but, okay. The only reason I could ever justify having another Spider-Man movie is the fact that they never have done Spider-Man right. Ever! Like, they've always done, like, they either turn him into an absolute whiny bitch, or they turned him into, I can't keep my mask on because I'm so beautiful. You know, I just, that's kind of how I define the two movies. You know what I mean? Whiny bitch Spider-Man, which was 1 through 3, and then the Amazing Spider-Man is I'm so hot and beautiful I can't keep my mask on. You know what I mean?
Have you seen both? You've seen both those Amazing Spider-Man movies?
The funny thing is, out of the Amazing Spider-Man, I've only seen clips of it, and I can already tell that's what it is. Because every fucking clip was him ripping his mask off and staring just longingly into the fucking green screen they look at like, oh, look at my face.
Well, I mean, it's Andrew Garfield.
God damn it.
I will say something, unless... do you plan on watching those two movies, Stacy?
I bought them, and I'm going to force myself to watch them.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Won't spoil it.
Of course, I also bought all 8 of the X-Men universes that have been out right now. I'm going to buy Logan. Well, I guess 9 because Deadpool's still out. So I have all 9 that are out. And as soon as Logan's released, I'm going to buy that. I'm forcing myself to do it. But
yeah, I won't spoil anything for you in the second Amazing Spider-Man, but there's a scene where I just said, really?
I'm wondering if it's the clip I saw. Can I just say a clip I saw and you can tell me if it's the one or not?
Sure, yeah.
Itsy Bitsy Spider?
No, that's not it.
Because that one I want to slap my face. I want to slam my face in the wall, going, for Christ's sake, again,
The scene I'm thinking of involves webbing.
Oh, you're talking about the first one?
No, it's in the second one.
Oh, okay.
Please tell me he sprays it on Mary Jane's tits.
No.
Damn it! I've been waiting!
Mary Jane's not in the Amazing Spider-Man. They went with the classic...
Wait, really?
Gwen Stacy.
No way, really?
Oh, yeah.
Now I actually half-ass want to watch this instead of force myself to.
Yeah, it actually involves the scene I'm thinking of.
Oh, no. You know what I just realized? I forced myself to watch X-Men 1 through 3, and I left my notes out in the living room.
Oh, God damn it, Stacy.
And I have like 10 pages of notes. No!
Do you want to quickly go grab those?
Can you guys carry this while I go grab my notes?
I was going to say, isn't that what kids are for?
Go!
Okay, while Stacy does that, I'm going to talk about this. I'm just going to mention which scene it was. So, Stacy, if you're editing this later, cover your ears, I guess. But the scene I'm thinking of is when he's shooting his web as Gwen Stacy's falling. The end of the web frays out, and it looks like a little hand.
Oh yeah.
I was like, really? Come on.
Dumb.
Well, there's a lot more to that. Green Goblin didn't even need to be in that movie.
Yeah, I gave up on the Amazing Spider-Man movies when I saw the first one, and I saw Lizard.
Okay,
just the way he looked, I was like, really?
Wait, the Lizard is in the...
This is what you're going for?
Is it Amazing Spider-Man? Lizard is?
Yeah, he's in the first one.
Remember, I was watching the first 3, and I was going, where the fuck is Lizard? He's sitting right there.
They set him up because they were going to do more movies, but then they did they did Spider-Man 3, and they shot themselves in the foot.
Oh, God. That franchise could have been so much if they just wanted to have him crying every 30 fucking seconds.
Yay, we filled time.
I just found a picture of Jessica Negri in that Virgin Killer sweater.
Okay, speaking of this, okay. We mumbled something about this earlier, and I need to talk about this. This is life-changing for me. Robbie, how can I get you in a Virgin Killer sweater?
Oh, God.
I need this in my life. Guys, okay, how do we properly describe the Virgin Killing... You know what, Robbie, first intro where it came from, what it's about. You're the one who brought this up. This is your fucking mess.
I have no idea where it originates from. All I know is I was on Tumblr one time, and I saw a picture of this anime girl wearing a sweatshirt. I was like, oh, that's funny. Then I kept scrolling, and I just kept seeing them over and over again. I was like, what the hell is this? And it just since then, it just cropped up everywhere in cosplay, in anime pictures. Christ, I've even seen guys pulling it off.
I'm trying to think of how the best way to describe this thing is. It's the front of it's a sweater, technically, a sweatshirt.
It's like a backless sweater.
But a sweatshirt. Yeah, it's a sweater. Not even a sweatshirt, but a sweater, like a knit
Yeah.
sweater. But the ass is hanging out because it goes down past your ass, so your ass cheeks kind of like hang out.
It's like a turtleneck sweater combined with an apron that comes back around where the ass is, so you can see the top of the ass.
I'm just so confused by it.
Yeah.
For those of our YouTube viewers, there should be a censored photo popping up right now.
Well, I mean, you can find pictures of it that don't need to be censored. Just make sure it's not the ones with the whole cheek hanging out. It could be like half
I was going to use the Jessica Negri photo.
Perfect.
It's just
there we go.
Easiest.
Yeah. But it's called the Virgin Killer sweater.
Why was it called the Virgin Killer? Just because, look, the girls are so innocent, they're wearing this and they're going to get fucking their hymens popped or some shit? Is this really where we're at?
I mean, it involves pretty easy access.
You know, so do skirts. Trust me, I would know.
Yeah, but I mean, skirts usually you wear those with panties.
What women do you date? That's the half the fun. Just would you like you're sitting down at dinner?
Women?
Would you like a hamburger or would you like oh god? You know,
Stacy, women. What are you saying?
Well,
what women do I date?
I know. I'm sorry, Robbie. I'm sorry that I it's not gender identified. I sexually identified. No, You know what? We're just moving on. But yes, where the hell can we get one? And how can we get one on Robbie for a picture for the site? We need this in our life, Robbie. Will you do this for the podcast, man?
Well, I mean, it's an audio podcast, so sure.
Well, we're gonna post a picture of it on the site, though, man. Oh, and see, now he's not so ballsy. Okay.
Well, I mean, we were talking was it last week about leaking nudes on the internet?
Well, just don't turn around and have your ass hanging out. You'll be just fine, and just tuck it.
I was going to say, you're not completely nude.
Yeah, as long as you just tuck it, you should be fine. You know, just kind of tuck it between the legs and don't turn around. You'll be fine.
It's fine. I wasn't completely nude. I had socks on.
You want me to take my socks off? How lewd. God damn it. Oh, God damn it. All right.
You're talking to the guy whose idea of lewd was tentacle porn.
God, tentacle porn. I've seen this once in my life, and I never want to see it again.
Moving on.
All I can say is Bible Black. What in the hell? Bark like a chicken! Bark! Bark! It got okay. If anybody's
Isn't that the one you caught your daughter watching?
No, that's Black Butler.
Oh,
there's a huge difference between Bible Black and Black Butler. If you've never seen Bible Black, you need to see it at least once in your life because it's that bad. It's that.
Also, if there's one anime which isn't hentai, but you should never, ever, 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 ever watch, it's an anime called Boku no Pico. Don't search that. I've heard
so much about that.
Do not. It's not fun.
That's exactly what I've heard.
This is the internet. When you tell people don't search it, what do?
They
Why do you think I mentioned it?
Robbie's like, time to ruin somebody's life.
I've set the bait.
And we're going to get comments. You son of a bitch! I searched it, you fucker.
Hey, if I can't post it in Discord, I'm going to make people search it themselves.
Oh, God. All right, so here, here's a debate I feel we need to have, though, guys. And I felt that this is something that was needed for a while because I mentioned something about it earlier, and me and Casual were discussing it. And I think he brought up a good point. The Killing Joke. I know this has been out for a while, but I felt it was absolutely amazing when it comes to putting a comic book to the big screen. I can't wait for Mad Love, and I can't wait for Hush if they decide to. I really hope they do. But I thought The Killing Joke was fucking amazing. Thoughts? Was it done well, or did they fuck it up?
I thought it was okay.
I would say from the perspective of somebody that didn't read the comic, I can't really comment because, I mean, I didn't read the comic.
Yeah.
But one of the things I heard a lot of was that it was basically two movies. Like, it was The Killing Joke in the second half.
Yeah.
And it was something else that they just added in the first half
Yes.
And a lot of complaints from people that did read the comics and loved the comics was, why did we even need the first half?
See, I admit that. I'll admit that happened because I own the hardcover edition of Killing Joke. I thought it was absolutely. I love the graphic novel, but I would say that when I first watched, I was like, why did they add this? And I kind of stopped. That's a good thing they added it. I think it was good because it just, to me, it added a whole nother side of Batman, which not many people touch on, unfortunately, when they make movies about him. Usually it's about how hard-ass he is, how emotionless he is, and stuff like that. Well, this time it showed he actually let himself go. He let himself fall in love. He let himself, get a little loose, and well, not necessarily loose, but you catch what I'm trying to say. And it showed how he fell in love with Batgirl, and he fucked her, and then he won't let somebody he fell in love with and values so much risk getting hurt again. So he cuts her off from everything, I think I love that aspect of it a lot.
Well, I don't know. I just think that they also apparently made the scene between the Joker and Batgirl more extreme.
I think they actually toned it down.
I wouldn't say it was more extreme personally, no. I don't really see how you can make that any less extreme. I mean, sure, he put her in some vulgar positions, but in the comics, it was, in the graphic novel, I remember it being rather vulgar. I don't remember it being exactly tame by any means. I'm trying to remember exactly what that scene entailed in the graphic novel. I'd have to go read it again. But I remember it just being fucking like, oh my God, did he really just fucking do all this weird shit to her? Because the funny thing was, he had no idea it was Batgirl. He had no idea. He just knew it was Gordon's daughter. And he wanted a way to get at Gordon. So that was the whole fucking point of it.
Well, spoiler.
Yeah, if I think we're okay with spoiling this one by this point. But I never understood the hate for it. I thought it was so well done. I really did. I just thought it was just fucking fantastic.
I don't know that it's hate. I think it's like a lot of the most recent DC stuff. It's divisive. Like everything they've been doing lately, whether it's in the animation, because it used to be that everybody would say, oh, the animation is the best, the live action isn't. But now it seems like they're bleeding over so that everything is being divisive now.
True.
I'm sure things were just as divisive back then. Nostalgia goggles can help you gloss over a lot of stuff.
That's one thing I'm definitely guilty of, and I'll admit that any day. I'm damn guilty of having the nostalgia goggles on, and I try not to because I realize it makes it worse for my viewing experience. Kind of like my complaints of X-Men, which we'll be getting into later. And Casual busted me on, and he's absolutely right. As much as I hate admitting that he's right about this, because I don't want to, he is absolutely right. But we'll get into that in a few minutes. Sound good, guys?
But the thing is my question is that nowadays, what can we tell which is a real live-action movie and what is quote-unquote CGI?
I believe you're kind of bringing up maybe Justice League about Cyborg.
Yeah.
Because the fact that Cyborg just is CGI, it looks like shit. Personally,
yeah.
How do I'm trying
to
to
be perfectly fair to that trailer. It's still relatively early,
True.
So it could still go through more post production, for the cleanup.
I hope so.
I'm sorry.
We're stepping all over each other. I'm sorry, guys. I don't mean to. But with such a successful company doing it this way, what really gives them the go-ahead to put out such a shitty version of it?
Well,
it's such a reputable company who's doing the editing.
But that's the problem, is that all of the DC live action stuff, and when it comes to the complaints about CGI versus live action, etc., like for instance, they're going to be releasing, Disney is going to be releasing The Lion King, and they're calling it live action. But obviously, it's not going to be live action because you're not going to get a bunch of lions to, sing songs.
I'm just imagining a lion version of the musical Cats.
I would.
Oh my god!
I would say that definitions have to change. First of all, like when you call it live action, it just means that it's going to look more realistic. It's not going to be hand drawn animation.
Okay.
The other thing I will say is there's been a complaint leveled on Hollywood over the past couple decades now, pretty much since the late 90s and early 2000s, that CGI is taking over, and if I wanted to watch a cartoon, I'd watch a cartoon. But here's the thing. It's not about whether or not it's CGI. It's about whether or not the CGI is good. And I would say that, and one of the big movies that was these complaints were leveled against was the first episode of Star Wars, Phantom Menace. People were saying, oh, it's all CGI, it's just a big cartoon. Yeah, but it was good CGI.
Exactly. I completely agree, 1,000,000%. I
agree.
may not have been a fan of said Star Wars movie, but I do agree with you.
So I hate hearing that complaint against CGI. You know, like when people say, "Oh, Avatar was just a cartoon." Okay, but it was still
it was a damn good cartoon.
Good CGI. You know, you if you were to say, "Oh, the Jurassic World CGI was terrible," yes, it was, and that's, you know, the worst part is you can compare modern CGI to old CGI and say, how come it looks better in Jurassic Park than it does in a movie that came out 20 years later?
Well, it's because Jurassic Park, in my opinion, went for more realism. They actually used real props instead of all CGI. They try to use as much real life stuff.
Yeah, I like a combination of CGI and practical effects.
I know, like, the Velociraptors were obviously CGI, but the T-Rex was a real life prop that was just fucking, well, in quite a few of the scenes, at least, was a real-life prop that was just fucking huge, staring at him and shit. And I think that's why it was so successful, because it looked real. It was real. It was a real fucking thing.
But I mean, just the CGI alone. Like, there are scenes in that movie that are just CGI dinosaurs.
Yeah.
And those were good. They were better looking than the CGI from Jurassic World. And I think it's just a matter of render time and processing power and whatever, but you have to make it look right or else it doesn't.
Do you think it may be like a type of uncanny valley thing? Like, the more real they try to make it, the less it looks.
Well, no, because I mean, like, we've seen good CGI. Another case in point would be the Hobbit movies. Why did they make all the orcs CGI in that movie?
Because it's cheaper to do CGI than to have a metric ton of extras and costumes and outfits for everybody.
Yeah.
But you could tell, and it just, like, why?
Yeah, I think it comes down to a lot of, like, skill as well.
You know what?
Some people may not be as well skilled with making CGI as others.
You know, that's a great point, Rob, because I was about to say, funny part is in Deadpool Colossus, at times I forgot that he was CGI because he was just so well done. And that was on an extremely low budget movie. Well, relatively at least. Yeah, I mean. Or people are going to disagree with me on this one because the long silence.
I was actually gonna say I kind of like thought he looked a little bit too CGI at times.
Really?
But I think part of it was the voice. It sounded so comically Russian accent that I was kind of pulled out of the movie.
I
see.
I
that's
love
what
that
they were going for on purpose, though.
I agree, and I watched it with that in mind later and was like, okay, I like it. But at the time, like the very first time I saw the movie, I was like,
See, like, when I saw him, like, if he wouldn't have been Russian, I probably would have been pissed, to tell you the truth. Because, once again, and this is something me and you are going to get into over X-Men 1 through 3, and is that, he was extremely Russian. He's always been extremely Russian. If he hadn't had the extremely Russian accent, I would have been really fucking disappointed in the movie, I thought it was a fantastic rendition of Colossus from the comic books. The stereotypical, teacher's pet mentality. Because he was just like, oh, Xavier, thank you, yes, teacher, that's what Colossus has always been. He's like, oh, yes, senpai, stick it in me harder, please, daddy, please. He's always been that, In
Mother Russia, teacher pet you.
Wow, that came off really wrong sounding.
Wow.
Duh, that was the point, yes.
Yeah. Wait, what?
Wait, does that mean in the Western culture, students are normally petting teachers? What?
Well, it depends. If it's a
All
really
I have
hot
to say
teacher,
is
then
I'm
yes.
glad I have headphones in.
I mean, look at the news stories. We hear plenty of teachers getting pet by their students.
That's true.
I mean, if the teacher, as Van Halen once said, I got it bad, I got it bad, I got it bad. I'm hot for teaching.
Welcome to Odd Pod Dark.
Odd Pod After Dark.
Oh, God.
Idea.
Oh, God, I did not just do that.
What about that, what is it called? Remember that, the guy from X-Files, he used to have a show on Showtime, where you read, write-in letter. It was like...
California... Oh, you're talking about the Red Shoe Diaries.
Red Shoe Diaries. That's what this is going to turn into.
I was going to say, because he was on two shows. One was Californication, and the other was the Red Shoe Diaries. The Red Shoe Diaries was actually before...
years before.
X-Files.
Wait, was it? I thought you were going to say years before Californication. I didn't think it was before that. Son of a bitch.
By the way, the actor they're referring to is David Duchovny.
Thank you. Yeah, the sex addict.
David do no personality.
Really? I thought he had a fantastic personality for the character he played, which was Fox Mulder. He needed someone that was just kind of,
Well, yeah, but I mean, I'm just saying he has no personality.
Except for, you got to admit, in the, what the hell was it called? Not Evolution. It was Evolution. Wasn't that the movie he played?
Oh, God, that movie.
About
So the movie that ends with that giant starfish?
Yep. I believe that's the one I'm thinking of, yeah.
They have to go,
they
have to go up his asshole.
Since we're on the topic of actors, what about the Deadpool 2 controversy?
Oh, God. Okay. I saw an article how they apparently were thinking about bringing that what's his nuts? Fight Club dude. What's his name?
Brad Pitt.
They were thinking about having Brad Pitt play... Or Cable, he wanted to play Cable. Oh my fucking shit. Really?
I will preface this with Deadpool 2 is a very hot topic. So naturally there's going to be anonymous sources from everywhere. The most recent one I read was Michael Shannon.
Wasn't that the guy that played Zod?
Yes.
Okay, yes. I saw a picture of Zod. I've never seen the movie, so I don't know what his acting skill is like or what his personality is like. But facially, I could see Cable facially. When I think of Brad Pitt, abortion.
Here's the thing. Brad Pitt is a good actor, and let's be realistic. He's kind of old enough now. He's pushing 50, or actually might even be 50 at this point. So... I don't know. I agree that I when I look at him, I don't exactly see Cable. But if he were to get the role, I would have faith that he would do it right.
I'll agree with you on that. Yes.
Here's another thing I go back to. When Heath Ledger was announced as the Joker. Now, I know Stacy doesn't like that version of the Joker, blah, blah, blah. We know.
Wow.
However, it was such a left field casting. I remember, I don't know about that. Then I saw the movie, and it was like, he hit it out of the park for me.
Yeah.
So now, whenever I hear, left field casting, oh, this person is this character, what? Really? Whenever I hear that, there's always a part of me that says, okay, give him a chance. Give him a chance. You could be surprised.
And keep in mind, when we're talking about this particular character and this topic, these are not like people that are auditioning or these are just literally Hollywood releasing we're thinking about it. Yeah. And there's a dozen actors that they're, quote, thinking about. So
It's
who
like this for every
knows
major
who they're
role.
going to choose, you know?
Well,
Hey, Stacy.
Yeah.
I find Brad Pitt's acting is 5 out of 7.
solid 5 out of 7. No, but that's the thing. Brad Pitt is an amazing actor. It's just, and he's got the age. Yes, it's just, once again, when I think of his face and I think of his body type, I think of abortion on wheat toast as far as it goes for Cable. Cable was old, yes, but he's just a chunk of man, just a chunk of manly man, and just the
He's a
fucking
slab of
chest.
beef.
Well,
slap man chest, you know?
actors do a lot of impressive things when it comes to getting a role. Like, I mean, people didn't think that Ben Affleck would be a good Batman, and he bulked up. I mean, he got swole, you know?
True, I'll give you that.
I don't know.
Now-
I feel like there's a certain facial structure you need when it comes to Cable. Like
exactly.
big jawline, that kind of thing.
I would say that one of the actors that I don't know if he's even in the running, but he has actually said he would like to play Cable, was the guy from Avatar. He was the military
general
leader guy. Yeah.
Yes.
And
I could see him playing Cable.
I could see him easily playing Cable. He has the look.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah.
Now I'm going to stir the pot, and I'm going to poke something right back at you, Casual. I want to see what you have to say about it, okay? How many times have you said so far we can't look at the comic book and we can't say this is the basis for the character? Now, wouldn't that be the same way of looking at it? I don't necessarily agree with that point of view, especially in this case, but I just want to see what your take on it is.
well, that's why I also said that I would be perfectly fine with Brad Pitt. Like, yes, at a certain level, you have to, quote, divorce yourself from the previous medium because it's comic book and it does what it does, but the movie has to do something differently.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Rad. Yeah, Stephen Lang. That's the actor from Avatar. But sometimes you can't just completely say no to everything in the comic book. Like, for example, the Marvel Universe, the MCU, is not doing the exact stories from the comics, because if they were doing the exact stories from the comic, then Tony Stark would have been a Vietnam era vet that was, blah, blah, blah. But they're using it as at least a basis, and then they're changing it based on what they need to fit the whole cinematic theme.
Okay.
So, yeah, you're there. I'm not saying you're wrong, but I am saying that, come on, Stephen Lang would be perfect.
I would have to see a picture of his face because I've never seen Avatar. So, but I would.
My personal favorites, and I don't even know if either of them are in the running, but it would be Stephen Lang or Ron Perlman.
Ron Perlman's too old.
Oh, what?
I love
Really?
No.
He's like pushing 70.
But I don't give a
only
shit.
like
He'd still be. He
65.
doesn't. He doesn't look it though. That's the main thing is he doesn't look it. He would be the best Cable.
He kind of doesn't. I mean, okay. Speaking of having other actors would probably have to bulk up. He would have to lose a lot of weight and get ripped. I don't know if he's willing to do that because we do not want to see a CGI Cable body.
I'm willing to start a GoFundMe right now to pay him money out of our own pockets to get fucking swollen up just to do Cable, because he would be the best Cable known to man. Personality, facially, body-wise, he would be the best.
Okay, I disagree with you on personality. I think that he is too like the Cable in the comics, and again, I know I've said it, but you have to base it on something.
Yeah.
So in the comics, Cable is the straight man.
Mm-hmm.
Like totally the straight man. And Ron Perlman he's got an attitude. Like every role I've ever seen him in, he's always got that little Ron Perlman kind of smirkiness to him.
True.
And
But the thing is
don't
that with that
think
attitude,
I could see that.
But the thing is, with being Hellboy, you have to have that attitude.
True, but I was about to say, well, look at how Cable and Deadpool have interacted in the comics. Deadpool would be like the comic relief, and Cable would get a punchline in there and just with just enough sneed into it to knock it out of the park. Yeah, I mean, I think the two of them together would be fantastic. Could you imagine? I'm going to get so much slack for you guys, but what was Deadpool's actor's name? Ryan something?
Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds, thank you. I think Ryan Reynolds and just the two of them together, Ron Perlman and Ryan, would be just, oh my God, could you imagine those two personalities together?
I think that's the problem. I think they both have a certain snark to them, and I think that if you put the reason that what's his face Colossus worked so well against Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool is that Colossus was the absolute straight man. Like, there was, he was playing it straight the entire time. But with Ron Perlman, you have to take into account the kinds of roles that actors play, because they play those roles for a reason. They have a little bit of that personality in them. Sometimes it comes out more than others. I just think it would be snarky guy and snarky guy that's a little bit younger. And I don't.
You don't think he's diverse enough?
I don't. I honestly don't. I love Ron Perlman, but I don't know that he could play the absolute straight lace that I think Cable needs.
Bringing up people who could not do the roles, I think that they did. One would be Suicide Squad and Harley. I don't know what her name is. The gal that did Harley.
Margot Robbie.
Margot. Okay, thank you very much. Do you think she could have done a comic book / cartoon Harley instead of, and do the proper role, the true personality, throw away the costume and go with the old costume? Do you think she could have done that? Because a lot of people brought up Harley. Why wasn't she in any other Batman flick? One, could anybody have done her correctly? Two, would she have ever fit? But I want to start off with, do you think Margot could have done the original Harley correctly?
Absolutely. I've seen her in other roles. A lot of people forget them. I actually forget them right now, but but yeah, she is a great actress, and I think if they had done her a little bit more to what she was in the animated series, I think she still would have knocked it out of the park. She was the best part of that movie. You disagree?
I don't
To be
think she
perfectly
was the
fair,
best.
the best part of Suicide Squad is not very hard to find.
If you say tits,
Well,
I'm gonna
yeah.
laugh.
No, he's just saying that it was so bad that it's easy to see the best parts.
Okay, yeah.
Was it the ending credits?
Honestly, I
You
would
know,
say
I didn't
Diablo.
stick around for those.
Me, I think Diablo was one of the best parts. I loved him.
I don't know enough about Diablo from a comic perspective to know how true to the comic he was, or how much they changed about him. But my only problem with Diablo is that, and this is a problem with Suicide Squad in general, is they didn't devote enough time to him.
That, goddamn right.
And I guess that's true about all the characters. They devoted most of the time to Harley and what's his face, Will Smith, Deadshot.
That's one of the things that disappoints me about what DC's currently doing. They don't seem to be very good at devoting enough time to each character.
Well, they're not. Okay,
Which has got me worried for Justice League.
Here's why the MCU is currently working. They have comic book people running the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the main guys that are running the overall MCU they came from the comics. They were running a portion of the comics. Now they're pretty much exclusively running the cinematic universe. DC only recently, by putting what's his name, Jeff Johns?
Yeah, Jeff Johns.
Yeah,
By putting him in charge, only recently have they done the same thing. If they had done that from the beginning, I think we'd have a very different DCU than we currently have.
I think
it'd be enough to turn it around, though?
No. I gotta be honest, I have no faith in DC at this point.
I want to say yes, but I don't either. That's the problem.
I'm super worried about Wonder Woman. I think the tone is going to be... Because, keep in mind, Wonder Woman was made during the time when they were making all the other movies. So, I want it to be good. I really do. I'm going to go see it, but I just worry.
I still don't like it, the fact that all the DC movies so far all seem to have that darkness to them. It's like there's a certain a dark filter to them.
Well,
almost.
DC itself as a universe has always been incredibly dark.
I know, but you don't have to make it like all look this like.
Yeah, he's talking about the literal darkness. I totally agree.
I thought you were talking about the actual overall tone of the movie.
Not the themes. No. Just there's like a weird dark layer.
Yeah, they spend a lot of time at night. Now, in a Batman related movie, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, I actually agree with you about it feels like they put like a gray filter over their film, and for some reason.
There's a particular reason why on the internet it's known as the Snyder Murderverse.
Jesus.
I don't blame Snyder, because
I don't either.
The reason they hired him to do these movies was because from a cinematic perspective, he is great. Like, if you watch a movie like what is that thing called? The one
Watchmen 300.
No, the one that he did that was like his dream fulfillment one. I can't remember the name of it. Sucker Punch.
Oh, yeah.
If you watch Sucker Punch, that movie is terrible from story perspective, from acting, etc. But from a cinematic perspective, that thing is amazing. Like, it's taking each of the scenes out of context and just watching them. Oh my word, it's like a anime wet dream. But that's the problem.
Anime wet dream, nice.
They hired a guy that is an anime wet dream rather than hiring somebody that could direct. And when you give a guy like that free reign, he made a lot of great scenes in the Batman v Superman and in Man of Steel. I still actually do like Man of Steel, but
same.
But mostly it seems that when strung together, they don't really connect very well.
Yeah, he's always had great visual style. That's why when 300 came out, remember how big that blew up?
Oh, great movie.
Yeah.
But again, he didn't write the story. He didn't create the editing to that story. That was all done by Frank Miller. Same thing with Watchmen. That was done by Alan Moore. He was just taking it and turning it into a visual. Whereas with Man of Steel and Batman v Superman, he was in charge of more of the editing process, and that's where DC has kind of failed.
That was a funny that I just picked up Watchmen, actually, because Pink went to the store to go buy us the movies that we needed. And I'm going to get into this in a second. But she went to go pick it up. And she's like, what do you think about Watchmen? I'm like, I loved Watchmen. And I'm just like, you're going to hate it, but I loved it. So let's watch that again, I was like, everybody hated the movie, especially if you read anything about it. But it was an awesome movie itself, which we've gotten into plenty of times.
There are some movies where I am of the opinion that they were better than the books or whatever. Yeah. And honestly, I have to say, for the most part, I think that Watchmen was better than the book. I even like the ending better.
I haven't read the Watchmen graphic novel, but I do know about it. So I would definitely say that ending does work better. The movie ending.
Well, the giant space squid.
No, yeah. That was the comic book ending. Yeah, the giant space squid just when I read it in the comic, I was like, what is going on?
Ladies and gentlemen, the shark has just been jumped.
Hey, well, Batman jumped the shark back in the 60s, too, with shark repellent.
He did. No, I'm sorry, you're wrong. It was bat shark repellent.
If they use bat shark repellent in the new Justice League movie, that will make it 100 times better.
Oh yeah.
So it's only designed to repel bat sharks?
Well, yeah. What else would you expect it to do?
That's a scary idea.
That's
Right.
incredibly specific.
Hey guys, do the bat sharks have bat condoms?
Oh.
Ladies and gentlemen, the reason why we're going to kill Undead after the show today.
We're
You
going
keep killing
to.
him, but he just keeps coming back.
Hey,
He's undead.
I'll add a 73. So
No, but okay. So I want to go back though. When we talk about Harley in the cinematic universes, and I know we're like, oh, we've said this a lot. No, but seriously, when we talk about her and any type of universe, she's gotten a lot of shit. Where do you think she could have fit into any Batman movie with Joker? Like, where do you think it was appropriate where she was at with Suicide Squad? Do you think that she was done well? Do you think that she could have done better? Do you think she could have fit in with Jack Nicholson or with Heath Ledger? What?
I think she could have fit in with Jack Nicholson.
No, because the story didn't lend itself to her. I mean, the whole point of that story was he was going after these other women, and if you threw Harley into that story, which, by the way, that story took place before Harley was even created.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm more or less just using this as a discussion piece, not of its
Oh yeah,
relevance.
no. But I'm just saying that in that particular story, she would have been like, I mean, the only way that would have worked is if she was like pissed that he was going after another woman through the whole thing.
I could have seen her like being super jealous.
But then it becomes a Joker Harley story and not a Batman story.
Exactly.
Well, I would much prefer that.
Well, and that would be fine. But again, that's not the movie. You know, that's not the movie we got.
Yeah. I was about to say, well, what about Heath Ledger's Joker? Do you think that Harley could have brought itself to that or no?
No.
I don't think so.
Mostly because Heath Ledger's Joker was a different, like he was too insane.
See, I feel that Harley could have balanced him out as a character and made him a little bit more accepted, but I do agree that he is way too fucking nuts, to have a Harley with him.
And the thing about the different Jokers, each Joker has had a different take, and it's been mentioned before where I believe it was Robbie mentioned that each Joker is like a sign of the times, the kind of fears we have and stuff, which is what movies do. They're all about allegory and stuff.
Yeah.
But I would say that the other thing about each different Joker is they show a different side of his insanities and
Yes.
whether or not he is insane, and that's what I like about the different takes is that, one version, with the exception of Jared Leto's version, one version, he's clearly insane. Another version, he might be insane. Another version, he might not be insane. He might just be playing a role, and that's what I like. And that's also why I didn't like Jared Leto's version, because...
Well, why didn't you like it? I thought that was a fantastic Joker.
Where's the Kappa for that?
Remember, Stacy, sarcasm doesn't translate very well when you sound serious.
Why so serious?
Oh, God damn it.
But yeah, Jared Leto was just a gangster, a really terrible gangster.
yeah.
Thug.
Yeah, he didn't strike me as the Joker. Like, he could have been anybody. He didn't have to be the Joker, and it would have worked the exact same. Whereas the other characters, they were the Joker. Whether you liked the version or not, they were clearly the Joker.
And I do agree with that. Just because, once again, just like you point out, just because I didn't enjoy necessarily Heath Ledger's Joker, he was the Joker, and I'll admit that.
But yeah, I don't know if Harley fits anywhere. I think they have to do the movie that they supposedly are planning to do, which is a Harley solo movie.
The Birds of Prey, possibly.
No, it's are you talking about the what the hell the what is it called? The Gotham Vixens or whatever?
I don't know what it is, but I think the only way Harley works cinematically, because you have to remember, you only have about 2 hours to tell a movie tale. And I think the only way you can tell a good story with Harley and the Joker is you just have to focus on Harley and the Joker.
Yeah.
And let's all be real. I think the story they have to do is Mad Love.
Oh God, I still have my hardcover Mad Love sitting right next to me, and I still read it from time to time. Even though I know most of it word for word, it's just such a good goddamn book. I want to read it over and over and over again. You know, I think it'd be fun to see them do it. You know, it would.
They won't though.
You really don't think they ever would?
They might do an animated one, but I don't think that's kind of the problem that they've had in the DC universe, is they're trying to create stories that are too original. They're like only barely referencing the comics, and you have to have a balance.
Okay, I do understand that. Justice League. Do you see them ever bringing in Joker?
No.
You don't think so?
No.
Well, not into the Justice League, but into the movie itself.
Yeah, no.
I mean, not unless they did like the Legion of Doom, which is a bit of a stretch. I don't see them doing that.
I would see them doing like a bigger villain, like Dark Siege.
Darkseid. I mean, they are building up to Darkseid.
Darkseid was actually a scary character. You know, I felt he was always just something about him was terrifying personally.
Well, he's Hitler with superpowers.
Yeah, I know, but it's just...
he's basically space Hitler.
You know, I don't know. I don't read the DC comics, you know. But I know enough about that character to know that that's what Thanos was based on, because you know Darkseid is more popular. So Marvel needed their own version.
And Darkseid also came first.
Yeah. I hope they don't do Darkseid in Justice League 2. I know they are building up to him, but I feel like they should do some smaller villains first. Because where do you go after Darkseid? You can go. There's a few places you can go, like maybe Mongol or with Warworld.
I guess really just the Legion of Doom at that point. I mean, really, where the fuck would you go? I can't think of anything else.
And that's kind of the problem that Marvel could run into here very soon. Is they at
least like went for some smaller villains like
Loki. Well, no. Yeah, leading up to it, but they're about to do Thanos. They're about to do the Infinity War, and where do they go from there? I mean, the only thing I can think is that they have to like push aside their mainline characters that they've built up over the years and start focusing on the smaller characters again, and kind of like
what I think
back a step.
Yeah, that's what I think they're going to do. Like they're going to set aside Captain America and all that, and go for more the ones that they're introducing now, like Black Panther, Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, that kind of thing. That's what I'm hoping they're going to do anyway.
But who do they like? From a movie perspective, you know, you keep building up and building up and building up. Now, do you think they just have to accept the fact that they're going to lose a bit of money, which, you know, that's relative, and just scale it all back again and build up again, or do they try and top Thanos?
I don't know. The building up again, that's what comics do all the time. You know, granted, there's like 5 or 6 different runs at one time, you know, of a comic, different storylines. But that's always what they're doing. Is you're constantly, okay, here's the big finale, we win. Now what? You know, now it's on to a different run of comics.
Right.
So that could be possibly where they're going. They don't have a shortage of major villains, that's for sure.
They will if they keep killing them off.
Well, to be fair, most of the villains that they killed off weren't major.
That's true. I mean, I actually liked Ronan from Guardians of the Galaxy.
I did too.
But that may have been more to do with how he was killed than his actual character.
Yeah,
Well, his actual character was about as interesting as Malekith from Thor 2. AKA exactly.
Yeah.
The character who's as flat as a table.
Wasn't he played by Christopher Eccleston?
Yes.
Yes.
So of the only, I'd say like the major villains that I wish they would have kept around for the first all these movies was Obadiah Stane, and technically Red Skull's not dead.
Yeah.
Obadiah Stane because Jeff Bridges killed it, like for real.
I would agree with that. I would also love to see them kind of Dormammu. Not a whole lot of people know who the heck Dormammu was, including myself. But I think even though not everybody agreed with what he looked like, he was a new villain. He's still around. He's an extremely powerful villain.
Oh, yeah.
They could go that route. They could just,
Yeah, I could see them doing that.
Build up to Dormammu being the next big villain or something.
Yeah, I was surprised they actually went for Dormammu in the first Doctor Strange film. I thought maybe if he was going to be in it at all, it would be like at the end of the movie, it would turn out he was pulling the strings all along, that kind of thing.
Right, yeah.
They straight up put him in the movie. Which I was quite surprised about.
The other thing that I will say about all the villain choices and stuff is that they're looking to potentially have some really odd characters. Like Guardians of the Galaxy is pushing the limits of what they can do in a good way. Like they're about to have Ego, the living planet. Now, we don't know exactly how they're doing it, but that's a really strange choice.
Yeah.
The other one that's being rumored in some future movie is a character called MODOK.
God. I would
Really?
love to see MODOK in film.
That's what everybody would like. Like, a lot of Marvel fans are like, are you kidding me? Really? Yes, please. Because for those that don't know, MODOK is basically a giant head with arms and legs sticking out of him.
Yeah.
And MODOK actually means like
mental organism designed only for killing.
there you go. Okay, so he's one of the weirdest characters, and for some reason he's been around forever. Like, he's been around since the 60s or 70s when he was created, and he hasn't gone away. And they might do him in live action. So I don't know. Marvel is trying things.
At least
They're
you could say
taking
they're
a lot of
trying
chances.
things. You know?
Yeah, they're taking a lot of chances.
And
I think it's a lot of them paying off.
God, that'd be so fun to see him in live action. That'd be I can't stop saying it, man. That'd be so much fun to see him be done.
Who would play him, though?
Oh, God. Peter Dinklage?
No.
Who could play him?
Oh, I know who. The Jason Alexander.
I have to look that up. 1 second.
Wow, that would be hilarious.
Jason Alexander. I'm trying to think of who that is.
Seinfeld. He
Seinfeld,
was
George
George.
Costanza.
I could totally see it.
Oh, God, yes! Oh, God! He's already a gigantic walking head in real life. So why not just fucking green screen the rest of his body out and turn him into that? Next thing you know, he'll be saying, the cold side stays cold, the hot stays hot. If you know that reference, you're fucking old, by the way.
Also, this is a joke idea, but who could play him would be Danny DeVito.
No, actually, I could see that. I could totally see Danny DeVito. He's an underrated actor.
All of a sudden,
that
here's
people don't give credit.
Oh God, really, Danny DeVito? Really?
You got to think outside the box when you're casting MODOK.
That's more like sticking your head up your own ass. I don't know, man. DeVito?
Tell us how you really feel.
Well, he is a gigantic walking head once again, so, he's kind of got that same problem as Kazanza, so why not? It's just, as long as you stick some type of Seinfeld reference in there, I say we go with Kazanza. Or however you pronounce that guy's name. We have to do it. You have to. Got to go with him. Oh, God, that'd be so much fun to see.
For the record, there is also a female version of MODOK known as Modam.
No way,
yeah.
really?
Oh, my word.
I don't remember the female version.
Oh, speaking of movie news in the MCU specifically, has anybody seen the stills of Hell from the Thor movie?
No.
Yes, I have.
Oh, my word. Cate Blanchett is still super hot.
Also, Bucky wants his eyeliner back.
I saw the still. I don't remember where I saw it, but I saw it and I was like, "Oh wow, who is playing that?" And then I remembered it's Cate Blanchett. And for those that don't know who she is, she was the Russian chick in the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Yes, I know, terrible movie. She was also the Galadriel in the Lord of the Rings movies.
No idea.
So he doesn't watch movies.
Yeah,
I'm forcing myself to watch MCU, so let's just take it one step at a time. Elf movies can go fuck themselves for now. If it has to do with midgets, I'm instantly out.
Yeah, just the point is that she is.
Did I just hear that right, Stacy?
In her 40s, I think.
She is 47.
Yeah, she's 47, and if you see the still of her from the new Thor movie, you would be like amazed.
Yes, you heard that right. I said fuck midgets. It's a running joke because my girlfriend's a midget. And I'm gigantic. I'm like 6 foot some. It's priceless. See us go out in public going, is this a joke or is this real life? What the hell is this? Is this just some type of... I don't get this. Because I'll be going in, hey, honey, and all of a sudden you have to see her actually look up at me. It's fucking priceless. Oh, my God. Hi, casual. I'm going to watch this movie for no other reason besides the spank bank. Jesus Christ.
Right? Right?
Hi.
How you doing, 47-year-old Cate Blanchett?
Dude, I'm old, so I don't really care about that age.
Please get back into my dreams.
God damn.
He almost said bed.
Yeah.
Well, in my dreams, that's where she is. I mean, let's...
Because you're get it? Because you're sleeping, and it's in your... Next thing you know, he's got pictures of her above his bed, and he gets to creepy land real quick here. And then all of a sudden, the podcast gets fed a fucking restraining order somehow, and next thing you know, we have to kick him off the show, and then always is going, "What's the deal with that?"
So
Nobody?
casual.
Nobody?
He's going to be in his bunk for a while.
I'll be in my bunk. If you get that reference, thank you, because awesome show.
You know what'd be awesome? Having like a bed with like a mirrored ceiling, but the mirror has like a picture of someone from like the back, so when you look in the mirror, it looks like the person's on top of you having sex. That just popped into my head.
Oh, Robbie.
You know what would be extra awesome?
Wow.
Being able to buy Outlast 2 in Australia.
God damn. And for something completely different.
That was a transition, ladies and gentlemen.
Can we just give a round of applause, guys?
For
10 out of 10. 5 out of 7. Transition.
Amazing.
I love you, Rad. I love you so much, dude. Yes, to all of our Australian listeners, have no worries. You can finally buy this fucked up little game again. Because apparently
Now,
Australia's like, just kidding. Go ahead and buy it.
Keep in mind, we actually covered this, like one podcast ago?
Yep.
1 week ago, we were saying, oh, Australia's so weird and they don't allow things in and blah, blah. 1 week later.
God, they're fucking weird because now they said they don't care. Really, Australia, you are reinforcing so many stereotypes. It hurts.
Guys,
Seriously.
I don't know about you, but I think that was us.
Wait, what?
Sorry, that was a bad joke.
Oh.
I was saying because we bitched about it on the last podcast, they decided to change their mind.
Oh, I get you.
Wah,
Yeah,
wah.
we have that much power. Our podcast has changed the entire nation.
Exactly, we're gods.
Special request for the video after that joke. Please play sad trombone. or the Price is Right fail music.
Yes.
Wah, 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 wah.
Ladies and gentlemen, sound effect hour. No, but seriously, I think they took their national thing of a boomerang a little too seriously in life and going, well, we have to do this now. Okay, that was a really bad joke. I'm sorry. But seriously, why? They're like, well, this game is terrible. This is awful. This will destroy children. Just kidding. It'll only destroy the children we don't like, so it's okay. I mean, what the fuck are they doing?
I'm
I
not
come
sure
back
they know.
to destroying children. What?
Well, here's the actual story. That it came from at first they said we're not going to classify it there, so in effect it's a ban. Now after an internal review, they said, oh, it's okay now. Now, according to the game's publisher, they didn't change a single thing in their game.
Because why would they? They didn't care about Australia market when they were,
So it pretty much, the classification board literally just said, oh, our bad, we're changing our mind. It's good now.
Which, I mean, that's the thing about all those kinds of things, like the what do you call MSRP? I think it's called in America. ESRB, and then the the movie rating system in America and in other nations. These things not only change based on whoever's running it at the time, but they just change based on arbitrary, decisions. Like, for instance, PG-13 in American movie rating system. It used to mean certain things like you can't show nudity, you can't have any curse words. Then one day they said, well, you can say fuck once. Then one day they said, well, you can say fuck twice now. It's just like, it means nothing, and I feel like they need to adopt the same policy that comic books did years ago, where they got rid of what was known as the Comics Code Authority.
Oh, God, yeah.
Because people realized it's stupid. People are going to read what they want to read. They're going to, it doesn't matter. And it made comics better because they could tell the stories they wanted to tell instead of being restricted by this ridiculous, outdated,
bullshit.
And I get why they put the ratings there, but I feel like, it just parents pay attention to what your kids are doing.
Yeah. Also, the way it differs from country to country. Like in the US, Deadpool was it, R-rated or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in the UK it was rated 15.
Yeah, didn't even know that.
I was expecting it to be much higher.
And Deadpool, and with how fucking vile at times it was, it really should have been some higher to imagine.
Violence, it's more of the jokes and the.
That's why I said vile.
Oh, I thought you said violent.
Oh, I can understand. Yeah, I said vile. And you know what? And it was everything about that movie, and you figured it would have been higher. But honestly, at the same time, it's just Why the fuck can't we just put it on the goddamn responsibilities of the parents again to go, hey, this is your kid. Police it yourself, goddammit. Stop making us raise your fucking kid for you. You know what I mean?
That's exactly why. But that's getting really political.
Yeah, unfortunately it
Damn it,
is.
Stacy.
What? I didn't mean to. I just brought up a point.
Lex Luthor for president.
I wonder if it's a storyline where Superman kills him.
I would take Lex Luthor over Trump. Yes,
Okay,
I said it.
changing topics.
I hate you so much right now, Casual.
Well, I mean, Lex has better hair, for starters.
Well, I mean, come on. He runs a huge criminal organization and businesses. Actually, is he Trump?
Well, so
Excuse me while I go slam my face in the wall over and over again here, ladies and gentlemen.
So Lex Luthor runs his enterprises. Super Mario Run doesn't run a money printing machine.
I saw that story actually. Thank you very much. Yeah, that apparently Super Mario Run, Nintendo was like, this is going to make us so much money. Then all of a sudden they're like, oh shit. Mobile games don't make money? Really? No, they fucking don't. They're not going to get you rich, Nintendo, for the love of Christ. They're not a Switch, you dumb fucks. Yeah, I mean, it's not exactly the huge money-making franchise they were hoping it to be. Is anybody really surprised by this, besides Nintendo?
Which means that here's the thing about Nintendo. They make a decision to try something new. For example, Pokemon Go, Mario Run, the Super Mario Brothers movie.
Yeah.
If it goes badly, they don't do anything with it again for at least 20 or 30 years. So if Mario Run goes badly, they're probably going to just completely leave the mobile market.
Also, to be perfectly fair, are we talking about it didn't make a lot of money in general, or didn't make a lot of Nintendo money?
Nintendo money.
Okay, then that means it still made more bank than all five of us are going to see in our entire lifetime.
Oh,
Exactly.
yeah. Guaranteed.
Okay, here's the thing. It was a pay-to-play game, and it got 780 million downloads on ISO alone. iOS, excuse me, alone. But only 5% of the players actually purchased the full game. I apologize.
Well, of course.
That's still a lot of fucking bank.
The problem with Mario Run is it's what 10 years too late. I mean, when were the first running games on mobile popular? When mobile couldn't do much.
Exactly.
Now you can have fully realized games on a mobile device. You can sync your controller to it with Bluetooth. The mobile has evolved well beyond that, and it was just a bad idea, I think.
To kind of lop on to explaining or to talk about the downfall of mobile gaming, shall we bring up Flappy Bird?
Flappy Bird was a hell of a success, but I don't know, was he intimidated by his success, or what the hell happened? Why did he pull it? Does anybody actually know?
Supposedly okay, so first of all, it used assets from Super Mario Brothers. Super Mario World, I believe.
Oh, true, very true.
And he redid all the assets in its own, thing, but he didn't. It's exactly what you said. He did not like the success. Like he said, this was supposed to be a fun little thing, and it's turned into this big deal, and I don't want that. I just wanted this fun little thing.
So it's kind of like Notch in Minecraft.
Yeah, kind of.
Well, I was going to say, didn't he sell the rights to the game for like billions of dollars?
I don't know if it was
billions,
but yeah, I think he did, and that's why you saw like 1 million clones of it come out afterwards.
Okay,
I could see millions, but not billions.
I'd like to kind of raise light to a game that I'm actually enjoying on the mobile, on my phone. It's called Egg Inc.
Egg Inc. Do you ink eggs?
You're an egg farmer.
Okay.
And you're running a chicken farm that basically it's a tap idle game.
Okay. So kind of like Cookie Clicker or Make It Rain, that type of game.
Kind of, yeah. I'll take screenshots later and send them to you.
Okay.
So, Stacy, I know you mentioned earlier about X-Men.
Ah.
and you promised everybody out there in audience land that you'd get to it.
Do I have to?
Well, you don't have to, but
Yes,
you
you
did
have
watch
to.
him for a reason.
Oh, God, it's so bad. It's so good, but it's so bad. That's the best way to describe it. It's so good, but it's so bad. First off, why is it every fucking kid in this movie has to have a fucked up haircut? Is it just like you're a mutant by design? You have to have the most off the wall, stupid haircut that makes no fucking sense.
It's part of the mutation.
It's part of my mutation. I have to have the most awkward fro possible. I mean, seriously, man. You know. Also. Okay, I get it. They're going for effect. I understand this. Okay, I really do. But when Logan was in the ring, the little ring thing, and he was fighting everybody, and he gets punched, it sounds like a regular person getting punched, right? But when Logan headbutts or punches somebody, all of a sudden, ting! Shouldn't it sound like that the whole fucking time?
To be perfectly fair, that movie was in 2000. That stuff was a little more acceptable.
Actually, it was 98.
I'm okay. I get that it was a little more acceptable, but still, does it? Come on, man.
Because he has a metal skull.
Well, okay, so you have to remember that the setup for Logan's metal stuff was there to kind of like, oh, what's this? He's metal? And if they would have done it before the headbutt, then you would have been like, oh, okay, so there's metal there.
True. Very true.
So it was just kind of movie stupidity, I guess.
Okay, I'll give you that. It was just one of those things. I'm like, I just want consistency. That's really all it is. You know what I mean? It's just like, it just didn't make sense to me. Also, okay, when they go and pick up the senator, I think it was the senator, right? Senator Kelly, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Kelly.
something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Toad was the pilot, okay?
Right.
How fucking blind you have to be to not see a gigantic, fucking stupidly green guy wearing a helmet under. The helmet wasn't like a full face mask. You could see his entire bottom from like his nose down, just bright ass green. How hard was it to notice this?
To be fair to Senator Kelly, you don't normally look at your helicopter pilot when getting into a helicopter.
I'm not talking about Kelly. I'm talking about the other people that were the other soldiers that were sitting there walking up and talking to Toad.
Well, nobody was talking to him because he had his head down.
No, like they walked up, they looked up, are you okay to go? And he nodded yes, and like they were looking at each other, and they could see the job. Okay, once again, maybe it's just me being me, but it just looked like something that should have been pointed, that should have been overly obvious.
Maybe you just said, I'm not feeling too well.
I'm feeling a bit under the weather today. I'm getting a bit green. Yeah, that's totally.
They mentioned it's not easy being green.
Oh,
God damn it.
I was about to make the same joke.
And also, I grew up reading X-Men comic books. I grew up watching the cartoons, and it didn't occur to me until watching this movie and seeing the X-ray of Logan. His claws are fucking impossible.
Oh, well, yeah. They've always
You're
been
just
impossible.
realizing this now?
Yes, it didn't click before because I never bothered thinking about it. You know what I mean? And then I looked at it and went, oh my God, that's physically fucking impossible. How could they they have ever justified this?
They need to be like a certain length, otherwise, one, he wouldn't be able to move his wrist, or he wouldn't be able to move his elbows.
Well, it doesn't even matter about the length. Your bones are the way they are because that's the only way they work.
Yeah.
If you had 3 other bones, no matter what length they are, inside they're in between, you wouldn't be able to move your wrist. You wouldn't be able to twist your arm.
Also, how the fuck does he manage to get them coming out between his fingers every time? Like, I would fuck that up so much.
Right, dude? And all of a sudden, ah, shit, ow, it's on the top of my hand this time, you know?
Yeah, you just do someone a handshake and your claws pop out accidentally.
Get your
Hey,
logic
claws
out of my
out the-
comic books.
If a claw was coming out the back of your hand, at least you could backhand somebody.
Yeah, you know?
They actually, I do cover his claw thing a little bit in Logan, so I don't want to spoil that for people, but yeah,
Yeah.
they do kind of focus on the whole claw thing, like
Great, I have to
not
watch
not
another
like
one.
not like a lot, but there's like kind of a throwaway moment where you'll
No
see.
spoilers.
Okay.
Yeah, you'll see.
Okay, Senator Kelly gets hit by the mutation field thing and gets turned into a mutant. I get that. I can understand, sort of. Okay, I understand the concept, at least what they're going after. What the hell was his actual power? He had like,
Turning into water.
he
no.
adapt.
He
Turning into
didn't.
water once.
No, he didn't. That was kind of the point. Is he didn't have a real mutant power. It was like the way that effect was working on him was trying to mutate him in literally every way. Like when he was in the water, he was like a weird jellyfish water person. When he was out of the water, he was, it was destroying him
Yeah.
Okay.
on a genetic level. And that's why, like, you could say he turned into water at the end, but I look at it more like his genetic code was so wiped out that he just dissolved. Like, I could imagine that water turning into something else too, but it just... Ugh.
Yeah, they actually cover that. It's like his cells are destabilizing.
Okay, that's like legitimately what I was wondering, because this made no sense to me. I was so confused, and it never really touched on it, so I was like, I'll ask the boys. They'll be able to help me.
Yeah. Also, speaking of being mutated in every way, in X-Men First Class, do you think they're ever going to bring Darwin back?
Darwin.
No.
Darwin was the black mutant that Sebastian Shaw.
Oh,
Like,
Darwin,
he was-
yes.
He
Murdered.
could adapt.
Yeah, but like I think I don't remember where this was in the comic books, but something similar happened to him. But in order to get around it, he adapted and turned himself into pure energy.
I mean, they could. Like, it's a comic book movie. They could.
It's open for
but
it, yeah.
I don't think they will. I think they purposely used Darwin to die in
The
that
guy
way.
who can adapt to everything.
Yeah, the guy who the idea is the guy that can adapt to everything can't adapt to save himself. So they're not going to bring him back. He was a throwaway character.
I thought he was interesting. I thought he was really interesting.
Oh, I liked him. I think there's more they could do, but they're not gonna.
I'm going to say, though, with the rest of the movies, like First Class and that other turd, Days of Future Past, all of those will be on next podcast, not this one. I'm already taking notes on all of them. Days of Future Past, I made 20 minutes into and I had to walk away. Screw that piece of crap. Like, Pink had to watch the rest of it and give me notes for me because I could not handle it. It was that bad.
It gets better.
Oh, fuck you. That's like saying, play Final Fantasy 13. It gets really good about 3.5 hours in. You
Days
know?
of Future Past is probably, in my opinion, the best X-Men movie.
If
that's the
when
best
I
X-Men
say,
movie, I'm going
okay,
to walk away from the entire franchise right now.
It gets better after they get into the past, which you probably didn't get to that point.
I have so many questions about the first 20 minutes that I could fill an entire 2-hour podcast in just the first 20.
It explains it. Trust me. If you watch it, that whole first part, the one thing that it doesn't ever explain is how did Shadowcat get those powers, but again, that's movie versus comic. They just gave her the power because movie.
Don't get me started on that.
well, actually, that power is from somebody else.
Well, yeah, but
they didn't have access to that character, or the character was dead, or never introduced it, or whatever.
Yeah, they just didn't want to introduce another character, and which I don't understand why they didn't want to introduce another character. The X-Men universe has like 1 million characters. Just throw another one in.
Exactly.
The only way I can see them getting around it is in the comics. Some mutants have what's called a secondary mutation. Like Emma Frost's primary mutation is her telepathic abilities, But a secondary mutation is she can turn her skin into diamonds.
Yeah, that was a
Like,
rather interesting
something like
character.
that.
Like I said, the entire next podcast will be all over the next series of movies, all the kid movies, basically, is what I'm calling them. The little kid X-Men. Okay, so here's another question. Xavier knows where all mutants are on his property, right? Because he has this mental power. If Professor X has this power, how the hell did he not notice that Mystique was on the property to come trick Rogue?
Okay, that one I do actually know, but it was never explained in the movies, like, ever.
Okay, please help.
She is a shapeshifter.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of characters in the X-Men comics that are so powerful, like Magneto. He's the most powerful magnetic guy. Jean Grey is the most powerful telekinetic. Xavier is the most powerful telepathic.
Yeah.
She is the most powerful shapeshifter of all shapeshifters. Okay. She can actually mask her brain. Like, she can shapeshift so convincingly, and I don't know how. It's a comic book. But
So
basically,
she
she is...
manipulate dissociation.
Yes, she is so powerful in her shapeshifting ability that she can literally shapeshift every aspect of herself, even the mental waves that would go out to indicate that she's not the person she's supposed to be. So... It's just not something that they ever went into because who cares?
All right.
I guess.
Mystique gets stabbed by Wolverine, 3 stab marks in the stomach, right?
Right.
Why the hell isn't she gushing blood? She just has 3 little ketchup stains on her stomach, and that's it.
Well, why does she take damage at all if she's so powerful of a shapeshifter, as I just mentioned, that she can mask her? Shouldn't she just be able to shapeshift heal herself?
Exactly. And also, remember Wolverine? She shapeshifted into Wolverine, but when she shapeshifted into him, her claws got cut off. Shouldn't she be able to get the super strong claws, too, if she could shapeshift that well?
Like I said, it's a comic book.
The claws are not organic. But yet she can do clothes, so it's like extensions of herself, I guess.
Yeah, which, by the way, you should keep that in mind. She's always naked, even when she's not.
Oh, that's hot. Oh, I bet you're all naked underneath that shapeshift, aren't you, baby? All right. At the scene where Magneto is at the Statue of Liberty, how the hell
started on the Statue of Liberty?
Do they not notice something's going on when they're only at LSI? That's not that far away. It's really not. Especially with how strict the security is, they have no idea something's happening over there. Here comes the Blackbird come flying into town. All of a sudden, here comes a fog on nowhere. But nobody noticed the Blackbird entering town during this uber strengthened security.
Comic book.
That doesn't excuse it, though.
Also, pre 9/11.
True.
That is true.
True.
That is true.
Okay, I hate you for explaining it that way, but you're absolutely right on that aspect. You know what? You're absolutely right. I'm thinking about a post my 9/11 world when I'm thinking about this. Okay, but even with all of that, they've noticed something happening at the Statue of Liberty. Something at all?
It was nighttime, and there were a lot of lights around their little party or whatever it was, so they wouldn't have seen stuff because it was all dark at the Statue of Liberty.
Now, I know the answer to this, but I already disagree with it. How the hell does Wolverine defy gravity when fighting Sabretooth?
Which scene are you talking about?
I'm talking on top of the Statue Top of the Statue of Liberty. When he's like spinning around on the fucking...
Okay, he's not defying gravity. His claws hit the crown point, and the camera angle was just really weird. And to be fair, that camera trick that they did was actually pretty cool. Basically, as he's falling, he pops his claws, he... quote, latches on to the crown thing, and imagine if you put a hook on that crown and he just swung himself around. Now, why it doesn't just go straight through, I don't know.
That's what I'm bringing up, because I understand.
It does by the end.
Yeah, I mean, it cuts its way all the way through by the end, but...
Come on!
Okay, but you're getting into something that's always bugged me about Wolverine in general, comic book or movie, is that his adamantium is the, quote, strongest metal in existence.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. But that doesn't mean you can cut through steel. That requires actual force, and he's still just a dude.
Exactly, man. This is something that's always bugged me about Wolverine, but I always kind of took it because it's, well, he looks cool. You know, I never...
I imagine he'll be like at least slightly stronger because his adamantium's got to weigh a ton. So,
but still, you can't push a piece of metal through another piece of metal without force. It doesn't matter how sharp it is.
Wolverine's power is clearly proportional to how tall he is. Clearly, he has a far greater power multiplier.
Oh no!
I also watched a video of that explained how X-23's claws are actually better equipped for cutting things than Wolverine's claws, and it's the same effect that you get when lying on a bed of nails. Like the less spread the forces, the more power it has behind it. It's like 2 claws would cut something better than 3 claws.
Because it has a lower surface area.
Yeah.
Really?
I would like... Okay, so we know... do we know, as a group, who is in Logan?
No.
Like, the main
Well, I know
characters.
Professor X, Logan, and then the kiddo.
Okay, you know who the kid is, right?
She's a clone of Logan. I know that much. I don't remember her from the comics,
I
unfortunately.
haven't
but
seen the movie yet. So
Okay, well, never mind then. But they go over something in Logan. You need to see Logan.
I'm going to
so we can talk about it.
when it comes out at home. I will
yeah,
watch
I'm waiting for it to come out on DVD.
Oh, that's so long.
I don't
waiting for
like
VHS.
humans, man. Wait for VHS. God damn it, Brad.
Fun fact for the day: the last movie ever sold on VHS was National Treasure.
Really?
Really? Really?
Random facts with Brad.
Right, dude?
This
All
has
right.
been Random Facts with Rad.
All right, so here.
Rad facts.
I need to know this, guys. I need someone to tell me I'm not completely crazy. When
You're in the wrong place.
When Rogue sucks up Logan's power on top of the Statue of Liberty, all of a sudden his wounds magically reopen. His body's already healed them. Why the hell did they reopen?
Because he doesn't
movie.
have his power anymore, and it's not keeping him healed.
But they've already healed.
No, it's because movie. It's the same reason that his healing factor works way faster in the movies than it does in the comics. It's because movie.
Okay.
It's visually cool looking.
I just want to make sure I wasn't going completely nuts with the it's a movie.
No, I mean, you can sort of justify it, like, you know, because they didn't fully heal and now blah, blah. No, it's just because movie.
Okay. All right. You know what? We got to power through this because I just realized how long we've been going today. Holy shit. X-Men 2 with the MGD product placement. Good job, guys. You made so much fucking money off of that, I'm sure. Now, here's something that's going to piss off casual. Colossus was done so incredibly wrong. And
that doesn't piss me off.
It's
He wasn't even there.
I'm
really?
talking, X-Men 2.
No, I know, but that's what I'm saying. He wasn't even really there. He was just kind of, oh, I'm the guy with metal.
It pisses me off, one, because he's just so small. 2, because his accent was so fucking wrong. And the reason why I'm just going to say it's probably going to piss you off is because I go back to the comic book of... I know I have to separate myself from the comic book. I do understand that, but I bring myself to the comic book so much of going, but this is... He's just rushed. He's not even Russian in the fucking movie whatsoever.
However, in X2, they do get his powers correct.
Oh, that he can transform back and forth between metals?
He's not metal all the time.
I don't know why they did that in Deadpool. That one kind of bothered the shit out of me.
Because they didn't have the budget to transition him constantly.
Well, and also, nobody is really 8 feet tall and like 500 pounds of muscle.
Well, to be honest, when Colossus puts his metal, it goes to full metal. He does actually gain in size.
Yeah. Keep in mind that when you're talking about the movies, at the time when the X-Men came out, the last comic book movies were the Batman movies, which, Blade and Superman, the original Superman.
1978 Superman.
Right. So what they were trying to do with the X-Men, and something that they've reached what I would call a perfect balance in the MCU movies, is they were trying to do away with the superhero from the comics. That's why there's that line where Wolverine is in the black leather and Cyclops says, "What would you prefer, yellow spandex?"
I remember seeing that and giggling my ass off like a little kid.
Yeah, it was a great line. It was a great moment. They were trying to make it a little bit more realistic, and one of the things they decided wasn't realistic was a comically bad Russian accent, whereas Deadpool decided to just go full tilt. This is Colossus with his comically bad Russian accent.
It's just, to me, it wasn't comically bad, though. That's just who he was. He was from the motherland, you know? So I really have a hard time calling it comically bad.
I don't know. We can go round and round on that one,
Yeah,
but I just, that's why. That's why they didn't get Colossus exactly right, because they were trying to make it more down to earth, so to speak. And it's hard to make characters that can breathe fire and whatever else other powers they are.
True. I hate you for it, but you're right.
So Stacy,
Yes.
I've been dying to ask you, Nightcrawler.
I liked his
Nightcrawler.
accent a lot. I thought they did him some justice.
You like Kurt Wagner?
What?
Kurt Wagner? You like Kurt Wagner?
I have no idea what you're saying.
He was the highlight to
Terrible
X2
accent.
for me.
Oh, he was the highlight?
Okay,
I would say he was done incredibly well, so I would have to say yes. I was very happy with him, how they did him. Very, very happy.
FYI, Kurt Wagner is Nightcrawler's actual name.
Oh, okay, thank you. Sorry, I just couldn't understand what the fuck you were trying to say.
I was trying to do it in a terrible accent.
He was saying Kurt Wagner in, a
yes.
bad German accent.
I just thought they did him very, very well. I was very, very happy with him as a character. And
What did you think of the opening of X2 with Nightcrawler?
I almost threw the TV across the room.
Really?
I was like, what the fuck are you doing? He was never evil, and I was losing my mind thinking like they destroyed him and then come to find out afterwards. Oh, wait.
I'm not talking about the character dynamic.
Oh.
I'm talking about the actual way they use, like, the teleporting and stuff.
Oh, fucking amazing.
Okay, there you go.
Fuck.
You have to watch Days of Future Past then, because they do another amazing scene with a different character.
Oh, yes, they do. Absolutely.
Also, Nightcrawler in the Days of Future Past trilogy, Nightcrawler is pretty cute.
Really?
Yeah, they made him younger and smaller, and they lessened. Am I wrong? But did they lessened his makeup in the First Class trilogy?
I don't think it had as many like swirly bits on it.
Okay.
I liked how they did the makeup. I thought the makeup was amazing in X2. Too much iron in the blood. Really? Really? I mean, really?
My complaint related to that, why didn't Magneto keep those 3 metal marbles? They're so freaking useful.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, a guy with that kind of power.
I mean, he doesn't have any between his legs, so.
Oh, God.
Oh!
I thought that was so lame that he had too much iron in his blood. I thought that was probably one of the lamest things they could have ever done, personally. It was just so dumb.
That
Well,
actually makes sense to me.
now you didn't miss the scene where she injected him with that,
Oh,
right?
yeah. But it
Okay.
it's not... Okay. If it was like true liquid metal, then it would have melted his veins. It's just the thought that they're going to say real iron in his blood and that the
No, it wasn't iron. It was some sort of blah blah comic book blah blah. He was just
That's
saying
what I'm talking about.
too much iron in your blood because it's a funny line.
That's what I'm talking about. That was just so dumb. So dumb. I did. I saw this and I almost started screaming. I was like, that's just such a dumb fucking fuck you.
You read
Fuck
comic
you.
books. They come up with stuff like this every other issue.
But here's the thing, okay? I can accept shit like this in comic books, but not a movie. When it's in a movie, I expect a certain level of realism. I expect them to at least make shit make sense.
Okay,
Sorry, you kind of contradicted yourself with one of your questions then, because movie.
Well, like, I don't agree with that concept because movie, though. Yeah, I mean?
okay, I smell the real issue. You know, Stacy wants realism in movies, yet he also wants comic book in movies.
No. Okay, there's a thing. You can balance them. You can give the story of a comic book without losing the realism of a movie.
MCU.
I'm not disagreeing with that at all, except for the fact that, well, yeah, I actually, because X-Men's totally different from it. So, yeah, I'm not disagreeing with that. MCU is doing it incredibly well, and I don't have many complaints about the MCU so far. It's just X-Men is just a turd, an absolute fucking turd.
You're watching it 20 years later. Well, not quite, but you're watching it after it came out and they've done better in comic books in general. It's like watching the original Superman. You watch the original Superman and you just go, man, this is dumb.
Cringe factor to the max.
But at the time, it was amazing. It had never been done before. I mean, the poster marketing for the original Superman was, you will believe a man can fly. And people were like, holy crap, this is amazing. Now you look at it and you go, wow, that was really bad. And it's kind of the same thing with X-Men now. There are elements of it that still hold up, like the Nightcrawler teleporting scene and other stuff. But it was done in the year 2000. They hadn't found the balance of comic book movies yet.
True. I'll give you that.
It just doesn't work anymore.
Okay, moving on to the fucking turd that is X3 that legitimately got me physically ill, and I had to sit in the toilet for an hour and a half straight, vacating my bowels.
I'm the juggernaut, bitch!
I swear to God and everything holy, I want to choke that guy.
Oh, God.
Okay, you bring in one of the biggest X-Men villains, the fucking, the Sentinel, okay? You have Logan fly across the room, cut off the head of the Sentinel, chuck it back, right? I get this.
Speedball special in the comics.
I know, and I'm really sad that I won't get to see another one of those.
But you left the Sentinels out after you introduced this amazing... Why? Why would you leave something as amazing as the Sentinels out?
Days of Future Past.
No, don't you even fucking get me started on those Sentinels. Fucking T-1000s? Really? We're going to turn them into the fucking Terminator 2 T-1000s? Come on!
Okay, I'll explain why. Because they were test marketing. They thought the movie was good, apparently, and that opening portion in the Danger Room was a combination of fan service, because we've been wanting to see the Sentinels for years, and the Danger Room for years.
Yeah.
And test marketing the idea of the Sentinels. Well, unfortunately, it kind of failed, not because of the way they did it, but because the rest of the movie was terrible, and they went on to try and reboot it with First Class.
Another point of note, X-Men and X-Men 2 were both directed by Bryan Singer. X-Men 3 was directed by Brett Ratner, because Bryan Singer left to go do Superman Returns.
That would explain a lot. Okay, why it seems so drastically different between the two.
And that's why they killed off Cyclops, because he was appearing in Superman Returns in schedule conflicts.
Okay.
He also, the actor didn't want to do Cyclops anymore. He felt he was underused, and I kind of agree.
That's something I was just legitimately... That was my next point I was going to get into. Cyclops was such an amazing character that you just took a shit on that character with this entire comic book movie.
And and that's why, in addition to the Superman conflict, that's why that actor left in X3. He said, I've been in 2 movies now, and I've shot a laser beam, and that's about it. So he said, I'm done with this. Write me out.
Seriously, he was such a detrimental part of the comic book, of the cartoons, everything, and they're just going, oh, you know what? This entire movie is no longer X-Men, and all 3 of them, really. It's no longer X-Men. It's now Wolverine, and
Xavier.
Yeah.
Wolverine and Friends.
But the thing is,
that's it.
On the other side of that, I do believe, correct me if I'm wrong, in X2, they did have Cyclops in a big emotional part of the movie.
Barely.
Yeah, that's the problem. Barely. It would all 3 of those movies, even though Magneto very specifically says in, I believe, all 3 of them, it's not about you, to Wolverine. Yeah, it really was about you.
Yeah.
All 3 of those movies were about Xavier and Wolverine. And it's because they're the big names.
They wanted
from actor perspective.
Well, Patrick Stewart was. Hugh Jackman was the new kid on the block that was like, I can't get enough of this guy. He's amazing.
Oh, okay. I would agree with that. But he did such an amazing job with it. Okay, so we've talked about casting in movies and how sometimes it seems wrong, and we have to just kind of say, well, maybe it'll work. You got Michael Keaton as Batman. Nobody thought that would work. You got Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man. People were like, what? When Hugh Jackman took the role from a comic book perspective, comic book fan perspective, it was the same thing.
Yeah.
Because Hugh Jackman is, 6'3" or something like that? And
no,
Wolverine...
he's like 5-something. He's the same exact height as Wolverine.
No, he's not.
No, he is not even close.
I looked it up. They were comparing how the 2 are the exact same size.
Hugh Jackman is 6'1", 6'2".
Yeah, and Wolverine is 5'3".
5'3", something like that.
Yeah,
sure?
That's how they can do
absolutely positive.
That's how they can do the Speedball special.
Right, and so people flipped out. Comic book fans flipped out about it. They said, "Oh, he's too big. Wolverine's supposed to be short. Cast a short actor." And then Hugh Jackman knocked it out of the park.
Wow.
And people didn't care anymore that he was tall.
To Google, Hugh Jackman is 1.88 meters.
We're not talking about your foreigner language. 6 foot 2.5 inches. Yeah. 1.6 1.89 meters is what I'm getting to.
And he's 48 years old, from Sydney, Australia.
I had no, because I remember reading somewhere that they were the exact same height. He was perfect for the role. Weird. Anyway, moving on. I apologize. That's my fuck up, and I'll gladly eat crow on that one.
You're probably thinking of Christian Bale and Batman.
That's probably what I'm thinking.
For all of our viewers, feel free to shit on Stacy in the comments.
So, I know I asked you before about a Blue Mutant. What about Beast?
Okay, I loved Beast in number 3. He looked fantastic. The way he attacked the role, the way his body, everything was perfect about Beast. I didn't have a single complaint. The way he voiced it, I mean, there was nothing bad about Beast. He was perfect, man. I think he could have been a little bit more of a pacifist, a tiny bit more. But honestly, he was so good at Beast. I was just I remember sitting back looking, I was like, oh, they couldn't have picked a better person to play Beast.
Who did play Beast?
Kelsey Grammer, famous for his role as Frasier on both.
What?
Cheers
No, that was not.
Frasier.
No, that was not. What? No way.
That
was Kelsey Grammer.
Yeah,
Kelsey
voice
Grammer.
is obvious.
And one of the things I found amazing about that is that, if I'm not mistaken, he didn't appear out of blue makeup.
No, he
not
didn't.
once.
He was makeup the whole time.
And that's one of those choices that you see very rarely in a movie.
I'm sorry, that was fantastic. The only thing that technically was out of blue makeup is when he walked towards the Cure child and his hand turned regular color.
Right, but I'm just saying that they didn't do like a transition. They didn't do him like mostly human all the time. He was just blue-furred beast. Now, the one thing, and we're talking about a bad movie in general, but the one thing I will say is they didn't explain his blue fur. And that, that's kind of integral to the character if you read the comics, because he wasn't always blue fur. So,
Wait, are we on X3 right now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I have a big gripe in X-Men First Class.
Oh, we'll be getting to that next podcast because I'm going to be taking notes on all of those. I already have notes on X-Men First Class. I just want to get to the first three, this one, and then do the next one.
I probably won't be here for the next one, so I'll just voice my gripe now.
Okay.
Nicholas Hoult as the Beast in First Class, worst idea ever.
Absolutely. I thought he looked like a pile of dog shit.
Beast. Yeah,
really?
He's too pretty boy.
Oh, well. Yeah, I mean...
When I think of Beast in X-Men First Class, first thing that pops into my head is the guy, Taylor Lautner from...
Twilight?
When he played from Twilight. That's when I think of the Beast in First Class.
Yeah, when I think of Beast, I go back to like the original comic where he's like shortish and like very bulky.
Well, and that's why I thought that Kelsey Grammer was actually a good choice, because he's obviously they didn't go over his acrobatic nature and stuff, because let's face it, Kelsey Grammer couldn't have done that.
Yeah.
But he was big enough, he felt right for the size.
Yep. He was actually, Kelsey Grammer, I believe, is only slightly shorter than Hugh Jackman, I want to say.
Honestly, looking at the picture now, I could totally see it. By the time, I had no idea because he played it so well. That gives me so... I give Kelsey Grammer so much accolades for that. That was fucking awesome.
And
my first exposure of Beast was from the old X-Men cartoons.
Oh yeah,
and I really loved him in that, and I thought Kelsey Grammer did a great job of capturing that.
The other thing I will say about Beast in that specific, role is that he wasn't just played right by Kelsey Grammer; they wrote him right.
Yep.
Beast is considered in the Marvel universe one of the most verbose characters.
Mm-hmm.
He uses words that nobody else uses because he's really smart, and he likes to, let's face it, show off.
Beast show off? No, never.
but and we can get into it when you watch the 3 First Class movies. He wasn't that person. They didn't write him as that, verbose character anymore.
I would say, we'll get into that next week for sure. This
Beast showing off. Don't worry, I'm just hanging upside down reading Shakespeare. No big deal.
So
this podcast is getting really long in the tooth. I have 2 more complaints I need to get into, and then we can actually kill this podcast. The first one: why the fuck with Juggernaut? This goes back to Juggernaut, and this pisses me off. And I know it's probably going to be because movies and because we have to separate the 2 mediums. I get this. But why, first off, did they mention nothing about Charles and Juggernaut being half-brothers? 1. And 2, when they talk about the helmet was designed to keep Charles out because being half-brothers. Why the hell didn't they talk about that instead of saying just because it looks cool or some shit like that?
The obvious answer, like you just said, is because movies, but the real answer is they fell into the same mistake that every movie eventually seems to fall into, and they put too many characters in the 3rd movie.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't even mention the fact that Juggernaut's not a mutant.
Yeah, they just threw him in there because they said, fans like the Juggernaut. They didn't understand their fans. They didn't understand their fan base. And they just said, well, the fans like this character. Let's put him in there. And when they looked at the character, they said, the red armor thing is weird. Let's make it the concrete helmet, and let's make it this, and let's make it that. They didn't actually do any research on the Juggernaut or anything. They just threw him in there.
I have no complaints about the color of the armor. I thought the color change was good.
My thing is can't Xavier see through concrete?
Yeah.
Like I said, it was just because they didn't understand the character they had.
See, if they really wanted to go in depth, they should have made his Juggernaut's helmet the same as Magneto's helmet.
That's
Let's put it a different way. What they should have done is not had the Juggernaut in that movie, because the
True.
Juggernaut deserves his own movie.
or
He
at
is
very least
enough of a villain.
headlining the movie.
He is enough of a villain that they could have focused an entire story on him. Unfortunately, we get around to Apocalypse and we see how badly they did that. So,
Okay, your second point for Stacy.
All right. Why the fuck wasn't Magneto in prison?
Because
he got
why
out.
not?
No. He did all of this horrible shit. He killed so many people, but he's sitting there playing chess at the very end of the movie. Really?
He was in prison.
No, he wasn't at the very end of the movie.
At the
He was
very end
in
of
the
the
middle
movie,
of-
he was
middle of a park.
in Central Park playing chess
Oh,
by himself.
that.
Why the hell wasn't he in prison? This is so dumb. Like, I wanted to break something.
He was busy making chess pieces wiggle.
He did the Shawshank Redemption where he made a whole bunch of chess pieces and he escaped out of the shitter.
Okay,
Yes.
so when he's fleeing with everybody else, for the Phoenix, hey, look, she's going insane now. When he's fleeing for everybody else, he slips away and changes his appearance. I'll just that's the best explanation I can come up with.
And also, Phoenix not being a symbiote, I'm so pissed. All right, guys, we need to be done because we've gone on way too long today. Thank you so much for swinging in and doing another podcast with me, guys. And Undead, it's been great to have you back for another one, man. Who the hell are you guys? Bottom up.
I'm Undead.
I'm Robbie.
Rad, the master of transitions.
Yes, you are.
I agree.
Casually challenged. I
I've
have
been-
opinions.
Yo, yes, you do. And I'm Stacy Kruger, and I usually combat every opinion. I love you guys. You've been amazing. Thank you so much for swinging in and spending time with us, listening to us do our rants. We will catch you all next week, and hopefully this time our podcast site will actually let us post it instead of having to argue with it for 3 days to get the damn thing to post. Take care, guys. Be good.
Bye-bye.